I made the Taj Mahal, one of the 7 wonders of the world in Minecraft, and here's how I did it. I wanted to make the Taj Mahal out of quartz blocks because through the picture, what I could conclude was that it was like pure white. So the quartz block was the best option that I had. Of course, I could have used white terracotta or the white wool to give it a nice texture, but from far away, it didn't look that great. So I ended up using the quartz blocks for the entire build. Of course, I used different types of quartz blocks to give it a nice texture here and there, but yeah, quartz was mainly what I used. I wanted to build this on a 100 by 100 platform, so I started working on the platform first. After the skeleton structure of the base was done, I needed to fill it up, which of course sounds like a very tedious task. And trust me when I say this, it is very tedious. As much as I wanted to make it a nice, satisfactory time lapse, I was quite lazy and I was not about to waste a lot of time on a platform where I could have used that time to make the Taj Mahal. So I ended up using commands. Oh, also, by the way, it took me over 50,500 blocks to fill it up. And the limit was like 32,768. I was caught by surprise, to be honest. Now, with the base or the platform done, it was time to start building the Taj Mahal. And that is when it hit me. The sides of the platform weren't looking pretty. So I started to decorate the sides of the platform as well. I made it like a very simple design. I made a cave like structure and then I added a redstone and a lamp so that it wouldn't be that dark. And after completing one, I started replicating it on the same side, and with each replica I made like some changes, so I had to go back and forth to tweak those changes here and there. And finally, after completing one side, in the middle I added a little staircase so that people can use that staircase and go have a close-up view of the Taj Mahal. Now, with one of the side done, all that was left to actually replicate this side on the other 3 sides of the platform. So that is what I did. With decorating the platform done, the next step was to actually start planning the build. Like a wise man once said, every great project requires a plan first. I don't know who said that, I just made it up. But this phase is planning, so let's start planning. First, I needed to find the midpoint of the platform, and that is when it hit me. This is a 100 by 100 platform, not a 101 by 101. It is a even number platform. So the midpoint, moving on, I tried to find the block that was very convincing, that screamed that it was the midpoint. So I took that block as the midpoint and I started planning this build. Now, whether I stuck to it or not, well, that is a question for another day. Now, before I start making the Taj Mahal, I had to make a skeleton structure. So yeah, I did that by raising the important pillars and connecting them so that I know how big the build is. There isn't much to say on this part except that I tried my best to replicate what I am seeing. And trust me when I say this, it was a nightmare trying to build the Taj Mahal in Minecraft. Because Minecraft is a block game, so making the curves on the scale of what I am doing was quite hard. It was a nightmare, okay, especially the arcs and the curves that the build had, what I saw on the picture. Replicating that was very tough. But I managed somehow and made it look like at least a little bit similar. Now, doing it on one side was tough. Now, imagine repeating it 3 times and building it like very symmetrically on a large scale. That isn't like my strongest suit, but I tried to push beyond my limits and make it. I tried to make it like very symmetrical as possible, and yeah, and that's how I made the 4 faces of the Taj Mahal. after breaking my back building the four faces, I called it a day and went to sleep. Now, after making the four sides, it was time to connect all the four faces, okay, with the four corners. And that is what I did. Now, again, it was quite similar. Just build it on one side and copy it on the other three corners. The hard part about this was that making the curves on a diagonal wall was very hard, and like I couldn't get like the dome like structure, like the cave like structure on the diagonal walls. It was quite easy to get it on a straight wall, but on a diagonal wall it is quite hard to get like the curvature right. Or maybe just that I am very bad at this game. Which one is it, I wonder? After doing one corner, I tried to replicate it on the other three corners. It was pretty simple and easy, to be honest. Now, after building the sides and the corners, it was time to make those domes like structures that each side had. It was quite hard to make it, but I managed to pull it off. There isn't much to say on this part except that it was very easy, sorta easy, and sorta hard. It was like a mixture of both. It was also very tedious to do it because I had to get those curvatures correct so that it looked very realistic as possible. But yeah, I tried my best and tried to make it look as real as possible. Now, after doing all those corners, sides, and those domes, it was time to make the top. First, I needed to make the base to which I could start working on those big domes on the top that Taj Mahal had. So yeah, I started to work on that base. It was very quick, and I gotta say some part was very satisfying to look at in the time lapse. After doing the base, I started to plan the top dome and the four smaller domes that you can see on Taj Mahal. I tried my best to do it, and all the five domes, I tried to make it as circular as possible. After making it look as circular as possible, I replaced all the bowls with quads and raised the blocks and started working on the bottom half of the main dome. After completing the bottom half, I started to connect all the sides and making it look like a sphere, like a hollow sphere. Okay, after connecting all the sides, I tried to make it look as spherical as possible, but in the end it looked very cubey. Since it was looking very cubey, I just added some quad stairs and made it look like a ball. So after doing all that, instead of a ball I got a onion. Okay, the dome looked like a onion. Nevertheless, I was like really happy with what I built. The four smaller domes, well, for those, they were quite simple actually. I made the first mini dome and the second mini dome different to check which design was better. I ended up liking the latter one over the former, so I replicated the latter one and redesigned the first one as well. After the main building was done, it was time to work on the pillars. The pillars was actually quite tricky, to be honest, because I had to get the size correct. I can't make the pillars look as thin as a spaghetti or as thick as a tree trunk. But in the end, I got the correct size. After getting the pillar done, I added a little texture and some decorations and just copy pasted the pillar on the other three corners of the platform with the help of structure block. Now, after completing the build and the four pillars, all that was left was to actually make the build look a little bit good by adding some texture and doing some final subtle details. And with that, the Taj Mahal was complete. I really liked how it came out, to be honest. I know it doesn't look as perfect like the perfect replica of the original, but at least it looks similar. There is a part of me that feels like I butchered the Taj Mahal, so I should like apologize to the its creator, okay? Mr. Creator, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Well, this is like my second big project to be honest, and I think for my second big project, I did quite good. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I pulled off this crazy project or not. Also, let's aim for 500 likes on this video and I would do another video replicating the Colosseum in Minecraft. And here is my first big project that I did in Minecraft, that is to transform an entire Minecraft village. To be honest, I think I did a good job. So let me know in the comments down below after watching this one as well, whether I pulled it off or not. That's all for this video and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.